The rain had turned the entire street into a trembling sheet of silver. Each drop striking the pavement with sharp, relentless urgency. Daniel tightened his grip on the small pink umbrella, far too small for a grown man. But it was his daughter Emma's favorite, the only one she hadn't broken yet. He tried to shield the groceries from getting soaked, but the wind kept pushing the rain sideways, drenching his jacket and stinging his eyes. He just wanted to get home. Emma hated thunder. Every time it boomed, she would cover her ears and run to the corner of the living room where her stuffed bear waited. He promised her he'd be back in 10 minutes. It had already been 15. As he hurried past the old library, a place most people forgot even existed, he noticed something unusual, a dark shape sitting motionless on the front steps. At first he thought it was a pile of discarded clothes or maybe an abandoned backpack. But as lightning flashed across the sky, he saw the outline of a woman. She was curled forward, arms wrapped around herself, her clothes soaked through. Her hair, long and dark, clung to her face in wet strands. Every now and then her shoulders shook, not from cold, Daniel realized, but from silent sobbing. He stopped a few feet away, unsure if he should say anything. But something pulled him toward her. Maybe the way she looked so painfully small in the storm, or the way her despair seemed to seep into the air around her. "Ma'am?" he called softly, not wanting to frighten her. "Are you all right?" For a moment she didn't react, as though she hadn't heard him at all. Then she slowly lifted her face. Her eyes were red and swollen. The kind of red that didn't come from a single night's crying, but from days, maybe weeks of trying to hold everything in. I have nowhere to go," she whispered, her voice raw and trembling. No one left. Daniel felt something in his chest twist painfully. He knew that kind of loneliness. He had lived it after losing his wife. "You shouldn't be out here," he said gently. "The storm's getting worse. My home is just a few blocks away. You can come wait there until the rain stops." She hesitated, fear, uncertainty, grief all flickering in her eyes. He added quickly, "I have a daughter. It's safe. I don't want to leave you here like this." The woman exhaled shakily, then nodded. "My name is Lily," she murmured. "Daniel," he said softly, "come on. Let's get you out of the rain." And together, under a small pink umbrella barely big enough for one, they stepped away from the storm. The moment Lily stepped into Daniel's home, she felt the warmth brush against her skin like a gentle hand. It was a small house, tidy, lived in and filled with the quiet hum of a place where love had been, carefully kept alive despite loss. The soft glow of 2 lamps lit the living room in shades of amber, making everything look softer than the storm she had left behind. Emma peered from behind the sofa, clutching a stuffed purple dinosaur to her chest. Her big brown eyes blinked with curiosity and shyness as she studied the dripping stranger her father had brought home. "It's all right, sweetheart," Daniel said gently. "This is Lily. She's just staying while the rain calms down." The child nodded slowly, then ducked back behind the sofa, only her small fingers visible over the top. Lily gave a faint smile, something fragile but sincere. It had been a long time since anyone had looked at her with innocent curiosity rather than polite pity. Daniel hurried into the hallway, closet, and returned, with a soft towel and a folded sweater. "This is for you," he said, handing her the towel first. "Dry off. And you can wear this. It might be a little big, but it's warm." Lily hesitated when she touched the sweater. It smelled faintly of lavender and something else, a feminine scent, soft and familiar. She realized it must have belonged to Daniel's wife. The knowledge hit her like a quiet ache. "Are you sure?" she whispered. He nodded, offering a small, reassuring smile. She'd want someone to use it. "It's been sitting there for too long." Lily swallowed hard. She wrapped the towel around her shoulders and disappeared into the small guest bathroom. As she changed into the oversized sweater, her fingers brushed the fabric with a kind of reverence. The sleeves hung past her wrists and the fit was loose. But it was warm, overwhelmingly warm, in a way she hadn't felt in her own home for months. When she returned, Emma was standing in the middle of the living room, clutching a soft blanket. "This is for you," the little girl said in a shy whisper. "Daddy says everyone needs softness when they're sad." The kindness cracked something inside Lily. She knelt, taking the blanket with trembling hands. "Thank you, sweetheart," she murmured. Daniel watched the scene unfold with a softness in his eyes he hadn't felt in years. A quiet understanding passed between him and Lily, a feeling that, Somehow, the storm outside had brought her exactly where she needed to be. The days slipped by more gently than Lily expected. She had planned to stay only until the storm passed, but somehow each morning brought a new reason to remain. Sometimes it was Daniel offering breakfast with a soft, reassuring smile. Sometimes it was Emma tugging at her hand, eager to show her drawings or invite her to play a simple game. And sometimes, and most often, it was the silence of her own apartment that haunted her far, more than the thought of overstaying here. Daniel never asked her to leave. In fact, he never asked for anything at all. But he always found quiet ways to make sure she felt needed. One morning he called out from the kitchen, "Lily, could you taste this? I think I added too much salt." Another evening he asked, "Do you want to come pick up Emma with me? She'd like that." Then there were the nights, the soft, peaceful ones, where they found themselves sitting across from each other at the kitchen table, sipping tea as the world outside whispered rain or silence. Lily began to notice how Daniel listened, truly listened, when she spoke. Not with pity, not with impatience, but with a warmth that wrapped around her like a blanket. He had that quiet strength people forget to admire. Not loud, not heroic, but steady, always there. One such evening, after Emma had fallen asleep with her blanket pulled to her chin, Lily finally allowed the words she had been swallowing for months to escape. "I thought I could hold myself together," she said softly, staring at the rim of her mug. After he died, I kept telling myself grief gets easier. That time would make me stronger. But it just made me quieter." Daniel didn't interrupt. He simply leaned forward slightly, his brows soft, his eyes full of understanding. "It doesn't get easier," he murmured. "You just learn to carry it differently." She looked up at him, surprised. "You felt it too?" He nodded slowly. 3 years. Some days I feel like I'm doing all right. Other days I look at Emma and wonder how I'm supposed to teach her to be brave when I'm barely standing myself." Those words settled between them, tender and honest. Lily's throat tightened. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel like her grief made her burdensome or fragile. It made her human. "You're stronger than you think," she whispered. Daniel held her gaze, something unspoken passing between them, something that felt like hope finally taking its first breath again. And for a brief moment, neither of them felt broken. They simply felt understood. The morning sun filtered gently through the thin curtains, casting pale golden stripes across the small guest room. Lily sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the sweater folded neatly beside her. She had worn it every day since the storm. It felt like protection, like warmth, like a reminder of something she didn't think she deserved. But today she forced her hands to place it back on the bed. She couldn't keep borrowing a dead woman's sweater. She couldn't keep borrowing this home, this comfort, this family. She took a slow breath and began packing her small bag. A few clothes, her wallet, her keys. With every item she placed inside, her chest tightened further, as if each movement pulled apart something fragile inside her. She couldn't stay here forever. Daniel was kind, generous, gentle, but she wasn't his responsibility. When she zipped the bag shut, her fingers trembled. She stood for a long moment, staring at the sunlight warming the room, wishing just for a foolish second that she belonged here. She didn't hear Daniel until he spoke. "You're leaving?" Lily turned sharply. He was standing in the doorway, hair slightly messy, worry etched so deeply into his face that it made her heart lurch. "I've stayed long enough," she said quietly. "You and Emma have done more for me than I can ever repay. I can't keep imposing on your life." "You're not imposing," Daniel said quickly. "Not even for a second." She tried to smile, but it came out wavering. "Daniel, this isn't my home." His jaw tightened. He stepped into the room, his voice softer now, almost breaking. "It could be." Lily froze. Daniel took a shaky breath. "Ever since you came, the house feels alive again." Emma laughs more. I laugh more. "The quiet doesn't hurt the way it used to." His voice dropped to a whisper. "You brought light back here, Lily. I didn't even realize how dim things had gotten until you walked in." Her eyes filled instantly, tears blurring the edges of the room. "Daniel, I'm scared," she admitted. "I don't know if starting over is even possible for me anymore." He stepped closer, slowly, gently, as if approaching a frightened bird. "You don't have to start over alone," he whispered. His voice cracked on the last word. "Please don't leave." That broke her. Lily's breath hitched, and she covered her face as sobs shook her shoulders deep, Raw years of grief spilling out all at once. Daniel didn't hesitate. He gathered her into his arms, holding her firmly yet tenderly, as if he had been waiting to catch her for a very long time. Outside, sunlight washed across the house, warm and hopeful, and for the first time in years, Lily let herself believe she was stepping into a new beginning. Not alone, but together.